Today we're going to talk about one of the most successful and influential artists of all time, Taylor Swift. She's been dominating the music industry for over 2 decades, breaking records, winning awards, and changing the game with every move she makes. But how did she do it? How did she go from being a teenage country singer to a global pop superstar? She has managed to conquer every element of the music industry: the business, the creative, album sales, her fan base, her touring, her awards. In this video, we will deep dive and look at how she dominated each of those elements. Taylor Swift was born in 1989 in Pennsylvania. She grew up loving music and started writing songs at a young age. She was inspired by artists like Shania Twain, the Dixie Chicks, and Dolly Parton. She learned to play guitar when she was 12 and started performing at local events and festivals. She also made demo tapes and sent them to record labels, hoping to get a deal. She was rejected by many of them, but she didn't give up. After performing original songs at an RCA Records showcase, she was given an artist development deal at just 13 years old. An artist development deal is a recording contract with a record label or a music publisher that promises to develop the skills and public profile of an artist.
A development deal is an in-between record deal. It's like a guy saying that he wants to date you but not be your boyfriend.
Taylor became the youngest artist signed by Sony ATV3 Publishing House, but left RCA Records at age 14 due to the label's lack of care for her. In 2005, in an industry showcase in Nashville, Taylor caught the attention of Scott Borchetta. A DreamWorks Records executive was preparing to form an independent label, Big Machine Records. She became one of the first artists to be signed to the label. It was a family affair, as her father purchased a 3% stake in the company for an estimated $120,000. She released her first 6 albums on the label. In November 2014, she removed her entire catalog from Spotify, arguing for higher royalties for songwriters. In a June 2015 open letter, Taylor criticized Apple Music for not offering royalties to artists during the streaming service's free trial period, and threatened to pull 1989 from there as well. But they were able to resolve it quick, as the following day, Apple announced that they would be paying artists during the trial period. This situation proved that Taylor can enact changes by weaponizing her fan base for good. In celebration of her 2014 album 1989 selling 10 million albums globally, she returned her entire catalog plus 1989 to Spotify. Reputation was Taylor's last album with Big Machine. In November 2018, she signed a new deal with Universal Music Group, and her subsequent releases were promoted by Republic Records. Taylor unveiled 2 important elements of the new deal. First was ownership of her masters going forward, and second, the deal included a stipulation that any sale of UMG Spotify shares will result in a distribution of money to all UMG artists. She not only gained control of her destiny with this move, she also brought about change for the hundreds of artists under the UMG umbrella. While promoting Lover, Taylor became embroiled in a public dispute with talent manager Scooter Braun and Big Machine over the purchase of her masters of her back catalog.
I made it very clear that I wanted to be able to buy my music. That opportunity was not given to me, and it was sold to somebody else. And so I just figured I was the one who made this music. First, I can just make it again.
Her solution was re-recording her back catalog, which she began in November 2020. She released 2 re-recorded albums, Fearless and Red Taylor's versions, in April and November 2021. Both of them debuted at the top of the Billboard 200. Speak Now, Taylor's version, is the 3rd album in the re-recording series and is set for release on July 7, 2023. Taylor knows how to create hype and buzz around her music. She also has a dedicated fan base that she can mobilize to do whatever she wants. She is currently one of the highest paid musicians of all time, and a very respected businesswoman. According to the RIAA, Taylor has sold a total of 51 million certified album units in the US. Her debut album, Taylor Swift,
came out in 2006 and was a huge success. It sold over 5 million copies in the US and spawned 5 singles that charted on the Billboard Hot 100. Her second studio album, Fearless, was released on November 11, 2008. Fearless became her first #1 album on the Billboard 200. It was 2009's best-selling album in the US, with 3.2 million copies sold, and has now sold over 12 million copies worldwide. She followed up her second album with Speak Now, released on October 25, 2010. The album debuted at the top of the Billboard 200, with first week sales of 1 million copies. It has now sold over 10 million copies worldwide. Her next album, Red, debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, with first week sales of 1.2 million copies. Red has now sold over 9 million copies worldwide. Then, her defining album, 1989, was released on October 27, 2014. It debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, with sales of 1.2 million copies in its first week. The 1989 era has sold over 130 million records, song and album units combined, around the world. 2017's Reputation debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, with first week sales of 1.2 million copies. Her next album, Lover, was released on August 23, 2019. It debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, with first week sales of 867,000 units, and ended the year with 3.2 million copies sold. Folklore was 2020's best-selling album in the US, with 1.2 million copies. And Evermore was released on December 11, 2020, and debuted with 329,000 units sold. In 2021, Fearless, Taylor's Version, debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, moving 291,000 album equivalent units in its first week. And Red, Taylor's Version, debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, with 605,000 units sold. Taylor's 10th studio album, Midnights, was released on October 21, 2022. The album debuted at the top of the Billboard 200, with 1.5 million units sold, making it Taylor's 5th album to open with over 1 million sales. She also tied Barbra Streisand for the most #1 albums among women, and became the first artist in history to monopolize the Hot 100's entire top 10. Taylor is one of the only artists that can still sell pure album units in this streaming era. She has managed to maintain impressive album sales, even though she switched up genres throughout the years. Taylor shifted her focus toward country music after being inspired by Shania Twain. She released her debut self-titled country album in October 2006. Her potential crossover to pop was apparent, even on her first album. On her next album, Fearless, she experimented with different genres and sounds, such as rock, pop, country, and folk, but the album's sound was primarily country, where it incorporated many pop and rock styles, with dubstep and dance pop. And she worked with producers like Max Martin and Shellback, but it still had that country sound she was known for. Then she made another huge transition with her 5th album, 1989, in 2014. She officially announced that she was leaving country music behind and embracing pop music fully. On the album, she worked with some of the biggest names in pop production, such as Max Martin, Shellback, Ryan Tedder, and Jack Antonoff. Her next album, Reputation, was released on November 10, 2017. She created an album influenced by the sounds and themes of the 2010s, such as electropop, trap, hip-hop, and R&B. She also addressed some of the issues and events that shaped her reputation, such as her feuds and her relationships. She made another surprising turn with her 7th album, Lover, released on August 23, 2019. She decided to leave behind the drama and negativity, and embrace the love and positivity. Besides Jack Antonoff, Taylor worked with new producers, Louis Bell, Frank Dukes, and Joe Little. Amidst the pandemic, Taylor released 2 surprise albums, Folklore on July 24 and Evermore on December 11, 2020. Both explore indie folk and alternative rock, with a more muted production compared to her previous upbeat pop songs. She created an album that was influenced by the sounds and stories of folk music. In 2021, she released 2 of her re-recorded albums, Fearless, and Red, Taylor's versions. The albums were faithful to the original, but also updated with new vocals, new arrangements, new features, new artwork, and new songs. Midnights was written and produced by Taylor, with longtime collaborator Jack Antonoff. Departing from the indie sounds of her two previous albums, Midnights sonically experiments with electropop, dream pop, and bedroom pop styles.
She was able to switch up genres when she wanted because she has full creative control over her music. Taylor has complete creative control on every part of the production of her music, from songwriting, production, to video direction. When she moved to Nashville with her family when she was 14 and signed with the independent label Big Machine Records, that gave her complete creative freedom. In Nashville, she worked with experienced music row of songwriters who were just out there trying to make it just like her. As a group, they were meeting for 2-hour writing sessions every Tuesday afternoon after school. She made lifelong friends from that, even some that have been involved in the creation of her major albums. Taylor wrote 3 of the album songs alone and co-wrote the remaining on her first album, Taylor Swift, released on October 24, 2006. She wrote about her personal experiences, such as love, heartbreak, friendship, and growing up. Her songs resonated with millions of fans, especially young girls who saw themselves in her stories. It made Taylor the first female country music artist to write or co-write every track on a platinum-certified debut album. She took more control on her third album, Speak Now, in 2010, without any co-writers or producers. On Red, Taylor worked with longtime collaborators Nathan Chapman and Liz Rhodes. Taylor has always been involved in the production of her music videos, but she started solely directing her own videos around 2019. That helped her vision come to life on her own terms. She was able to put a lot of Easter eggs in her videos that you won't be able to pick up on unless you watch them multiple times. She didn't let anyone tell her what to do or how to do it. She didn't follow trends or copy others. She created her own lane and stayed true to herself. Because she was able to pour her heart out in her music, she has built up an amazing fan base that rides for her. Scott Borchetta said that, although his peers disapproved of his signing a 15-year-old singer-songwriter, Taylor tapped into a previously unknown market. Teenage girls who listened to country music. Those were her fans at first.
I listen to country music, and I know there have to be other girls everywhere who listen to country music and want some music that is maybe directed more towards them.
According to a Morning Consult survey, nearly 3/4 of avid Taylor Swift fans are white, and roughly half her supporters are millennials. 53% of US adults said that they were fans of Taylor Swift, and 16% identified themselves as avid fans. Of the avid fans, just 44% identified themselves as Swifties. According to another study on Analytics Vibrate, 78% of Taylor Swift's fans are in the 18 to 34 age group. Most of her social media following is female, and her male fans seem to be older, 35 to 44 age group. On TikTok specifically, the fan base is more female, 80%, and younger, 62% are from 18 to 24. She has 261 million followers on Instagram, 75 million followers on Spotify, 18.5 million followers on TikTok, and 51.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Because of her huge fan base, her concert tours are some of the biggest of all time. Growing up, Taylor spent her summers at the beach in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, and performed at local coffee shops. Her first time on a major stage was when she opened for Rascal Flatts on select days during the 2006 tour. She has now headlined 6 concert tours. Her first major tour was the Speak Now World Tour that ran from February 2011 to March 2012 and grossed over $123 million. Next was the Red Tour that ran from March 2013 to June 2014
and grossed over $150 million, becoming the highest grossing country tour when it was completed. And the 1989 World Tour ran from May to December 2015 and was the highest grossing tour of the year, with $250 million in total revenue. She then embarked on a Reputation Stadium tour from May to November 2018. In the US, the tour grossed more than $266 million and sold over 2 million tickets, breaking the record for the highest grossing North American tour in history. It grossed over $345 million worldwide. In 2023, Taylor embarked on the Eras Tour, which broke the record for the most concert tickets sold in a single day. However, Ticketmaster was widely criticized for mishandling the ticket sales. Because of scalpers, fans had to compete with bots, and Ticketmaster's technology couldn't handle the demand. That resulted in the site crashing during the verified fan ticket sale. But the Eras Tour still broke Ticketmaster's record, selling 2 million tickets. Due to the quality of her music and her dedicated fan base, she usually cleans up at award shows. Taylor is one of the most awarded artists of all time. Let's look at some of her major award wins over the years. In 2009, her music video for You Belong With Me was named the Best Female Video at the MTV Video Music Awards. She just took her award and went home. That year, she won 5 American Music Awards, including Artist of the Year and Favorite Country Album. Billboard named her 2009's Artist of the Year. At the 54th Annual Grammy Awards in 2012, Taylor won Best Country Song and Best Country Solo Performance for Mean. Taylor also received American Music Awards for Best Female Country Artist in 2012 and Artist of the Year in 2013.
I love you so much. Thank you for this. It's unbelievable.
The music video for Bad Blood won Video of the Year and Best Collaboration at the 2015 Video Music Awards. At the 58th Grammy Awards in 2016, 1989 won Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album, and Bad Blood won Best Music Video. After the 2018 AMAs, Taylor garnered a total of 23 awards, becoming the most awarded female musician in AMA history. In 2019, she was named Artist of the Decade at the American Music Awards. In 2021, Folklore won Album of the Year at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards, making Taylor the first woman to win the award 3 times. From her humble beginnings as a teenage country singer to her current status as a pop icon, Taylor Swift has consistently proven herself to be a talented and influential artist in the music industry. Her ability to write relatable and catchy songs, as well as her willingness to evolve and reinvent her sound, has made her a favorite among fans and critics. That's how she has been able to conquer the music industry, and is now the music industry.